What is up, guys? It is Simba here, and welcome back to the channel for a very rare F1 takeaways video. I know it's been another 6 business weeks since I made the last video, but we are back for the main takeaways from this weekend's Sao Paulo Grand Prix, and I hope you guys can subscribe for more content like this. I'm going to try and do the last 2 races of the season, but for now, here are the results from the main Sao Paulo Grand Prix. And the race itself wasn't exciting, but here are 5 key takeaways from this year's Sao Paulo Grand Prix. And number 1, chaos on the opening lap. Literally meters off the line, there was a big crash which involved Alex Albon, Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg, and as a result, Albon and Magnussen were out of the race, affecting Piastri and Ricciardo as well, who had very long races at the back of the field. And I think the biggest losers here were the Haas team, because they're locked in a battle for 8th place in the Constructors' Championship, and right now they are sat at the bottom of the table, 4 points behind Alfa Romeo and 9 points off AlphaTauri with just 2 races to go. And this is massive for these 3 teams, because that will decide how much prize money they'll get at the end of the season. So for now, for these teams, every point counts. Meanwhile, takeaway number 2, a poor weekend for Mercedes. Over the last 2 Brazilian Grand Prix, we have seen Lewis Hamilton's masterclass from last to first, and George Russell picking up an overdue win after Sakir 2020. And many people, including myself, were expecting Mercedes to be coming out swinging this weekend, and that simply wasn't the case. They didn't look great in qualifying, they did not look great in the sprint, and Hamilton only managed 8th in the main race, and Russell retired, with Hamilton calling this a long weekend, one to forget, and Toto Wolff saying that the miserable car doesn't deserve a win. So Mercedes are pretty much waiting for the end of the season, and we'll have to see what they can do next season. But speaking of poor weekends, we're going to move on to number 3, which is that Charles Leclerc can't catch a break. The poor guy. He qualified 2nd, Verstappen's closest challenger in qualifying, and the formation lap pretty much ends his race as he had a hydraulics failure, and there's an image of his Ferrari with the damage and out of the race. And it's just awful luck striking again for the Monegasque, and it's been a very long season for him. It's even come to the point where even himself has asked, why am I so unlucky on the radio? And this pretty much sums up his season, from being disqualified in COTA to the incident in Mexico. This all adds up in the driver's standings, as right now he sits in a very lowly P7, 22 points behind his teammate Carlos Sainz, and only 14 ahead of Russell, who in my opinion has had quite a poor season. So Leclerc is also one to wait for 2024, but while teams are jumping out of form, it's been a return to form for Aston Martin, who are the 4th takeaway in this video. Massive improvement for them after a few rough races. I want to start off with Lance Stroll, qualifying 3rd in qualifying and finishing 5th in the main race, after he's been under a lot of scrutiny for his behaviour and his very poor performances back in Qatar, where he shoved his personal trainer. So a big weekend performance from Lance Stroll, and his teammate once again stole the show, and that is Fernando Alonso, finishing P3, his 8th podium of the season, and his first since Zandvoort, when I last made a takeaways video. And it was once again another display of quality from the Spaniard. Another case of brilliant defensive driving as well, as he held off Sergio Perez, who showed very strong pace in that Red Bull in the closing stages, choosing different lines through the final corner, and as a result it came down to 500ths between Alonso and Perez across the line, and it was Alonso who prevailed to score a podium. And you can see in that photo how much it means to him, and that was just brilliant. It was brilliant. Alonso once again showing his class, and a much needed podium after Aston Martin have been struggling a lot in performance-wise, since McLaren have jumped ahead of them as well in the Constructors' Championship. And with Norris getting his 7th podium of the season, Alonso in 3rd, and along with Piastri's poor luck at the start, keeps them within touching distance for 4th place in the Constructors' Championship. But on to the final takeaway of this video. Number 5, Verstappen breaks yet another record. Yes, I know. Surprise, surprise. Max Verstappen wins a Formula 1 Grand Prix in 2023. A sight that has become way too often for a lot of people. But he actually managed to break a record here in Brazil. So, first of all, that is his 17th win of the season. He previously broke his own record in Mexico, getting his 16th one previously, and now this win in Brazil means that he has broken the record for the highest winning percentage from a driver in a Formula 1 season, which was held by Alberto Ascari back in 1952. A record that has stood the test of time for over 70 years, and it has been broken by Verstappen, who's just 26. An unreal season he is having. It's impressive on how he keeps getting better and better each passing year since 2021 especially. He's just grown into this driver who is literally the main target to beat, and he seems unbeatable going into next year too. It wouldn't surprise me if he's hard to beat the following seasons to come, and as a result he is now 4th in the all-time winners list. He equaled Prost in Mexico, and now he's 4th. He could be 3rd by the end of the year if he wins the next 2 races, and he'll overtake Sebastian Vettel, which is ridiculous to say the least. But yeah, Verstappen just in another league in comparison to the rest, and that is where I'm going to end this video with you guys. So there you go. There are my 5 key takeaways from this season's Sao Paulo Grand Prix. It wasn't an exciting race, but that finish with Alonso and Perez was absolutely brilliant to see. And let me know what your thoughts about in the race in the comments down below. Are you guys looking forward to the Las Vegas Grand Prix happening in a couple of weeks? Will it actually be good? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Get subscribed to the channel for more content like this. I'm going to try and keep it consistent to the end of the season. And as always, I'll see all of you in the next one.